You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let me take this across to our guests. Joining us, we have Sushant Sareen, Senior Fellow of ORF. With us also is Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, Defence Expert. Kuldeep Khoda is ex-Jammu and Kashmir DGP. Ashok Sajanhar is a former diplomat. With us here in the studio is Pradeep Bhandari, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Let me start with you first. General Kulkarni, what do you make of what's happening? Because these are quite disturbing. One hand, you have the Jyoti Malhotra case in which there's revelation after revelation coming each day, which is making that particular case quite murky. And now you have a second official of the Pakistan High Commission, also somebody who has worked in the visa section as per sources, who has now come out. And we all know what several of the other accused have said. They've said that there was, cash for visas going on. There was information for visas in terms of scandals. There were all sorts of attempts at getting more people to pay for their visas. It's all pretty murky at the moment. But is this a much, much larger nexus that's now being exposed?
Madhav, thank you very much. As much as Pakistan is the hub of terrorism, the Pakistan High Commission in Delhi is the hub of espionage. There is no doubt. Everybody knows it. There is nothing that nobody knows about it. Pakistan has been indulging in it for a long, long time. They're looking for people who can be a part of it. And then they find out exactly as to what is it, how they can lure some of these people. And most of them, maybe it's for, not necessarily honey trapping, even the reverse of it, for money, for fame, for ensuring that they just wish to be seen as part of it. So there's so many reasons that you can lure it. And of course, being the same kind of, habits, same kind of people, not very difficult to be able to identify, very easy to communicate with one another. Well, you have various Instagram, Facebook, so many things, Telegram, so many things. And this girl was also, Jyoti Malhotra was also involved in YouTube and things of those kinds, travels with Joe and things of those kinds. So nothing. At least to me, I'm not surprised because Pakistan is known for it and Pakistan continues, and this declaration of persona non grata is mutual. Because if there are 35 people here of the Pakistanis in High Commission of theirs in Delhi, we would also have the equal number there. And same number exactly. So if you declare a persona non grata here, they declare an identical person across in Pakistan. So it carries on like this. Probably till it turns to zero, which may be very, very difficult. But yes, Pakistan High Commission in Delhi is the hub of espionage, and ISR has been indulging it. And this is a very common thing. And I'm sure our own security agencies also know, though what you're saying, tip of the iceberg. Some of them are facilitators, some of them are known to it. People like Danish operate, and well, I think nothing, at least to me, nothing comes out unusual, nothing abnormal. It's been happening for a long, long time. It will continue to happen. It's just that these people are caught now because of Operation Sindhu that we all get to know. But otherwise, people have been arrested, people have been put behind bars, their vehicles are tracked, we know exactly where those people go, what they do, who they indulge in, who they talk to. Everything is well known. But yes, definitely. Won't call it the tip of the iceberg.
Let me quickly bring in Sushant Sareen on this. Sushant, I would ordinarily ask you, is it time to restructure, our diplomatic ties with Pakistan? Not that there's much left to restructure in the first place, but, it doesn't get worse than this. The point is that if you have an embassy that is up to no good, and there are repeated instances of this happening, the question that automatically comes to one's mind is, why do we even have such an agency, and why are we allowing our own interests to be defeated in this manner by literally giving out that expensive piece of property on Shantipat to them?
Yeah, but Madhav, that's a question that's been asked for many, many decades now. That the Pakistan High Commission out here does no.
I think we've lost that line with Sushant. I apologize. We'll try and reconnect with him. But let me direct that question. All right. I think Sushant is back with us. Yes, please continue, Sushant. I lost that again. We'll try and reconnect once again. Mr. Sajanhar, would you like to take that question?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Madhav. Let us face it. All embassies, friendly or otherwise, they all sort of, have some sort of spooks in them. So, in the sense, that is what your IB is supposed to do, keep a track of them, keep a watch on them. But that having been said, some of them are friendly countries, some of them are adversarial and hostile countries. And of course, Pakistan is on one extreme of the adversarial and hostile. Possibly Bangladesh is joining them there, and one or two other countries also, which maybe, I don't name them at this particular moment. So I think, if that is the criterion, that if they are, there are spooks in those countries, and if they are sort of, looking around that, you don't have diplomatic relations, I don't think that will work. Basically, what we really need to do is, as far as our own intelligence agencies are concerned, keep a very close watch, keep a very close eye, and basically, track the activities. And there are so many ways of doing it, whether it is electronic tapping or otherwise physical tapping. Meaning we are also, when we are outside the country, we are always tracked. There are always people who are behind you wherever you go, particularly in this adversarial and hostile countries. I remember I have been in Bangladesh when the relations were none too good with Begum Khalida Zia at the helm of affairs and so on and so forth. And you knew that, the people who had been put behind you to track you and meet all those people who came to speak with you. And also, I think our intelligence gathering system has to be, improved much more. And basically,
absolutely. The question that arises, Mr. Sajanhar, is this, and I want to bring in Sushant. Sushant, you can come in, of course, on the entire issue of diplomatic ties with Pakistan. But there are many who would ask that what were we up to? Because why does it take, an Operation Sindhu or an attack such as Pahalgam for India to respond in this fashion? Shouldn't these have been individuals who are posting on social media about their repeated trips to Pakistan, to China, so on and so forth? Shouldn't they have been under the scanner much earlier? Sushant, can you hear me?
But Madhav, I think you're being Madhav?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, Sushant, please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, because I think action is playing up a little bit today. So Madhav, here is the thing. I think the departments of intelligence agencies, I don't think they ever, are snoozing or ever at rest. They're always monitoring what is happening. Perhaps in this particular case, it has come to light because, everybody is quite charged up in any case. But, you routinely hear of arrests taking place, people caught in digital honey traps and all kinds of other things. And that is an ongoing thing. Okay, that is one. Secondly, look, spying is part of the game. All countries do it. So the Pakis do it is all very well. But I think the fact that their mission, as General Kulkarni very correctly said, has become a hub for spying and has been for many decades, raises the question, why do they need such a big mission? We have no relationship with them worth the name, no trade, no cultural relationship, no, friendly relations. The visas are also now non-existent. Maybe you have a 5-member or a 10-member team like you have with, third-rate countries like Azerbaijan. Maybe you have that kind of a mission in both countries. And you don't need to have these guys present in such big numbers out here. Maybe, we can also take over their mission and give them some place in Dwarka or some place where these Pakistanis can go and stay out there and not defile as beautiful a place as Shantipat. Perhaps those are things that the government can consider, of course, keeping in mind certain diplomatic implications of doing these things. But I would imagine that frankly, there is no diplomatic relationship left except for maybe a channel of communication which is still open. And there's something to be said for it, that we are not relying on any third country for communicating with each other. There is a direct line of communication. But beyond that, there is nothing. What do we gain from Pakistan?
Absolutely.
How does it
That's
matter to our lives? If they were not to terrorism, we could simply turn our back on them and forget they exist. For all I care, it could be
only thing coming on from across the border happens to be terrorism. And Pradeep Bhandari, let me bring you on this because, the question that is being asked, two questions. One, why do we still have this kind of diplomatic ties if the mission is being misused in this kind of blatant fashion? And number two, when it comes to our own agencies, of course, nobody is going to question what is happening. But at the end of the day, why does it take big incidents such as what happened in Pahalgam or in fact Operation Sindhu for us to be able to bust these rackets? This should have been something that was actively being pursued by our agencies perhaps, and there were clues out there. Our OSINT, etc. are available for our various agencies to be utilized, and this perhaps is a fit case to ask that question, Pradeep.
Well, Madhav, our agencies are always working. There are two types of intelligence. One is an actionable intelligence and another is not an actionable intelligence. I believe that Operation Sindhu was a tipping point. It's an ongoing operation. The Pakistani espionage has always been on our radar. Now, the larger point here, Madhav, is that in the last few days, if you recall and remember, many individuals have been arrested for direct and indirect espionage. The government of the day is tracking it. And the government of the day is also looking at the larger deep nexus of the 2.5 front war which General Bipin Rawat spoke about, because this 0.5 front is inside the country, which is directly and indirectly helping Pakistan. We have downgraded our diplomatic ties. For us in intent, it's an enemy nation, and we are taking all probable actions. Through our hard kill and soft kill, we have demolished Pakistani terror bases. The operations are ongoing. Inside the country, I believe that whenever any intelligence agency has an actionable input, it does act. If you recall, even in the time of UPA in 2012, in the Indian Commission in Islamabad, you had an arrest for the case of espionage. So this is something which is ongoing, but what I can definitely assure your viewers that this is at the top of the priority of the intelligence agencies in our government.
Okay.
The other options which the experts here have pointed out, I believe the government is definitely considering them.
Okay, let me bring in, just coming to Sushant, saw your hand go up, but I want to quickly bring in Mr. Khoda as well. Mr. Khoda, you're someone who's very familiar with matters particularly pertaining to Jammu and Kashmir. You've dealt with this kind of espionage coming from Pakistan side for years, and therefore I want to ask you, somewhere or the other, the manner in which this is all playing out, the manner in which there are revelations coming in day by day, and we saw on the weekend how this entire spying was busted, and there were a number of arrests. I think the total number was 13, which is a fairly significant number. What are we really looking at in this sense of this entire spying? How are you looking at it, and how do we safeguard from these spyings from coming out in the first place? Is there more surveillance? Is there better monitoring? What is it that we can do to prevent such things from happening on ground?
Madhav, the picture is going to become much bigger. The way the arrests are being made, the way the investigation is expanding, and the way we're finding the persons working for Pakistan ISI spread over UP, Punjab, Rajasthan, Haryana, it appears to be a much bigger thing. And what we have missed in this entire process is that those people who were visiting Pakistan High Commission, no background check was probably being carried out, and sort of debriefing on return on them. They were visiting an enemy country, a country with whom we have not much relations, who have been sponsoring terrorism for the last 3 decades, who have not been very careful about the people visiting Pakistan, particularly frequently, and trying to know as to what sort of work they are doing there, what all they are doing on their social media, what are their views about Pakistan. All those things needed to have been checked to stop this rot right at the beginning. It appears to have spread a lot, but one thing is now good, that it's being investigated very thoroughly, arrests are being made, and a lot is going to come out. They have been generally very soft on Pakistan High Commission despite their activities against India for so many years now. And the type of terrorism they have been trying to spread, the type of unrest they have been trying to spread, both communal and caste hatred within India through their workers, through their overground workers. I have observed, Madhav, that the Hurriyat people used to go with impunity repeatedly to Pakistan High Commission, get briefed, get debriefing, and not much was being done. We had suggested that those people should be at least investigated, they should be interrogated, but always it was thought that probably it would create some diplomatic issues. So I think we need to be very strong against Pakistan. We don't have to give them any rope at all.
Absolutely.
And, absolutely, we have to see all those people in any form coming in contact with Pakistan High Commission. And in any case, as Sushant mentioned, that the diplomatic ties need to be reduced to minimal, so that we have just communication with them, nothing beyond that. And we did not have to have ties with them. We tried to have trade with them. And the trade was misused when we had a trade relation with them via two places, Uri and Chakandabag in Poonch.
True.
They misused the trade in getting drugs from there, in undervoicing and over-invoicing the exports and imports, and using the defense for funding the terrorism and giving money to
That's absolutely bizarre. That's the whole point. I want to bring in General Kulkarni on this, because General Kulkarni, trade is misused, consular services are misused, terrorism is spread across the border. You know, why on earth do we have these ties is a question that many ask. Of course, the larger question that Sushant says, we have to, of course, maintain that it is India and Pakistan which are in communication, and we don't want third-party mediation. To that extent, perhaps there needs to be a channel. But do we need to have such a big embassy, you know, giving them so much of importance? Should a larger message be sent out? General Kulkarni.
See, Madhav, what happens is, irrespective, Pakistan still would continue. Their main aim is to bleed India with 1,000 cuts. And in that context, whichever way it may be, even if it is fine. So to say a high commission, you have to have a high commission, unless until you decide not to have one. You may have they have a building, listen, they have a building, it is their asset. They may require only 10 people to handle that asset. From the 35, they become 33 now. So maybe another 10 people maximum may be required. But that's okay. Similar thing is done with our assets. Our assets, when our own High Commission shifted to Islamabad, so many of our own assets, I'm sure the Ambassador Sajida would know, our own assets in Karachi, adjoining Clifton, and ruined, absolute ruin, because there's nobody to look after. You'll have all these people come into our houses and just take away everything, including ceiling fan and all what you have. So that's the kind of thing. So if you have assets in a country, irrespective of whatever it is, you have to take care of those assets. So Pakistan is known for it, everybody. And we also know what Pakistan are doing. So we also keep a tag of each one of them, what they are up to, and where it is. Anyone can Pakistan, close to the Pakistan High Commission today, and you see where it goes thereafter. So we know how, obviously leave it to the agencies concerned, how they handle it. But then there are certain things, but like what Sushant in a lighter way said, ship them to Dwarka. They would be the happiest to be in Dwarka, because that's the place where they would easily be floating around. At least in on this present Chanakyapuri complex, at least they can be looked at and seen very differently, and we kept the tag off. So Pakistan is known for it. So let's discussing Pakistan. I think it's a rogue nation which has a nuisance value, and we have to handle that nuisance value in the best way that we can, and we are doing it. All of it is coming out because of Operation Sindhu, not because of Operation Sindhu, even earlier also.
All right, Sushant wanted to respond actually to the question earlier. Let me bring in Sushant now. Sushant, yes, you wanted to say something.
No, I wanted to just correct something which my friend Pradeep said. You know, let's forget about it. There is no half front that we are fighting. It's a full front now. I think we should be very clear on that count. There is a complete front which opens out the moment the external front opens up. Okay, so basically that means that when India is fighting a war, it will perpetually be fighting on two fronts. The question is whether we are fighting now going to be fighting on two or three. So if we are fighting Pakistan, we are fighting Pakistan, and we are fighting Pakistanis and their advocates within India. If we are fighting China, we are fighting China and their advocates within India. And if we are fighting China and Pakistan, we are still fighting the third front. So please be rest assured there will always be a third front which is going to be open. And one thing which Mr. Koda said, I think that's extremely important. You know, for the longest, we used to say, okay, let these Hurriyat fellows meet the Pakistanis. You know, they would try and rub India's nose in the dust. The Pakistanis would invite them and fade them. They would ignore Indian ministers and, go out of their way to fade the Hurriyat guys. I think one great thing which Mr. Modi's government did was in 2014, when they put a blanket ban on this nonsense. They just did not allow it after that. So in the last 11, 12 years, you've not seen one of these third-rate Hurriyat clowns who used to take money from everywhere, wherever they could get money from. Not one of these guys have been allowed to go to the Pakistan High Commission. Right? So I think these are things that we should have woken up to many, many years back. But, we've always preferred to be a namby-pamby state, which is how the West also loves us. Namby-pamby state, keep slapping them around. These guys will keep taking it and we'll keep talking about Gandhi and Nehru and everybody else. Forget it. We are not doing that anymore. I think it's very clear that, yes, Mahatma Gandhi had, a certain philosophy. Yes, that philosophy is respected. But sorry, we are not going to get ourselves massacred simply to uphold somebody's philosophy.
Absolutely. I think that's a very fair point. We have prevented that circus show, and I remember those circus shows that happened right through the 2000s, and it was there for all to see, despite the serious charges against several of them pending before the courts. But Pradeep, you want to respond to Sushant, because he says that it's going to be a multi-front war, that India, whether we have Pakistan or China, whichever is the adversary, there are going to be those who in fact will raise their voice in their support or in some way end up strengthening their cause. Your response?
There was a time in this country where there were page 2, page 3 parties with Mr. Bhuttos and the Pakistanis, which was appropriated by the first families. We have completely rejected this. Please be assured that we are completely aware, tracking the Mir Jafars of the country who are trying to help Pakistan. I agree with Sushant that now it is the third front, and the intellectual front which backs the Pakistani and the Pakistani narrative. We are looking towards it with the same force as we look towards any military operation. Just 10 seconds, Madhav. Direct and indirect trade with Pakistan has been banned, and this has costed Pakistan more than $500 million. Another point which is very important, in the last 1 week, 2 individuals from the Pakistani embassy have been declared person non grata. You will see more concrete actions in the next few weeks.
Okay.
But we are on the right track, is what I can tell you. The intent which Sushant has said, the government has the similar intent. Our national security policy is inspired by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose and Veer Savarkar.
All right, we'll have to leave it there, gentlemen. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us. Sushant Sareen, Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, Kuldeep Khoda, as well as Ashok Sajanhar. Pradeep stays with us for debate number 2.